Hi, welcome to the NBA Economy Show. This is Fritz. Just wanted to give you a few things to keep in mind when you're putting together your free agent lists. The Knicks are in a tough situation this year. We know we're not playing with a lot of room between us and the second apron. Um, the Knicks don't plan to go into the second apron this year, but in certain circumstances, we could see them go into the second apron if they got like a star player worthy of doing that for. They could do it, but I wouldn't put anything in the second apron unless you're talking an elite level player coming to the Knicks in a trade. Um, and in that case, Knicks can't take back more money in trade. There are like special ways we can do it, like how we circumvented last year to take on money. You could do that. But we're particularly talking about free agents. So what I'm gonna do is talk basically the money the Knicks have. And a lot of us, what we do is first we usually go into the trade machine. And the problem with a lot of these trade machines, especially Fanspo, when you go into Fanspo, it doesn't give you all the players. Um, I had to bring some players up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset Fanspo so you see what happens. Trading cap manager. Actually, there we go. We're going to start with the Knicks. And it says there's 10 players on the roster for next year. And that's not quite true. So what they do have here, pretty much everyone signed. Ariel Huckporty, he's not automatically resigned, but we just pretty much opted in. So we know that's a given. Ariel Huckporty, if he's not in trade, he'll be back next year. So that makes 10. The players that don't automatically come up are signed up for next year are on this list called CH. So Kevin McCullough, he was on a 2A this year, so he's technically wasn't a full-time player. He technically wasn't an NBA player. So what we'll do is for sure have him for next year. And what it does, it gives you that if he signed up next year, it would be $2 million. So what we'll do, 3 years, and it actually populates it for me what his standard NBA contract would look like. So now we're looking at 11 players. So to start the season, Knicks need 14. Last year we did a little trick to do 13, but in your mind, there should be 14 players to start the season. And so now we're going to see how much money do I have to play with. There's actually, it says, with adding Kevin McCullough, we're already over the first apron space. And now it says between us and the second apron, where we don't want to go over, is 9.4 million. So your first thing in your mind would be, hey, I got 9.4 million that I could put on free agent. That seems pretty decent. No, but that's 9.4 million that you have to put on 3 players. Okay. So could you just split it up in 3, put 3 million, 3 million, 3 million? You can't do that. So in the Knicks situation, the max they can spend on a player is $5.6 million. That is our the mid-level exception that we have. There are other teams with larger mid-level exceptions. It's just a situation where we're over the tax. That is the amount we have. So that's $5.6 million exception. So that means besides minimums, we can offer up to 5.6 million. You don't have to use it all on one player. So if you want to give a player 3 million, that's fine. If you want to split it between two players, that's fine. But that is like pretty much the bucket um, to pay a free agent if you're not giving them a minimum. So that means with that 9.4 million, and most people's minimums are going to be 2.2 million. So let's say I'm only going to give two people two minimums. That'd be 4.4 million away from there. That means I could pay 5 million. I can give 5 million to one player. But we do know the Knicks have a 50th pick, and the second rounders you could pay them 1.6. So we'll take one of those spots out for the 50th pick, and that means I have 7.8 million to spend on two spaces. So that's 5.6 million plus a minimum. So when you're looking at free agents, you should be looking at possibly one minimum and one $5.6 million. And the type of exception the Knicks have, it's a TMLE. So you can't trade someone into that spot. Some of these other exceptions, instead of just spending 5.6 million, I can go on somebody else's roster and say, hey, trade me someone for 5.6 million, but not in this case. You have to sign it. One thing you need to consider on this list, I went to Sport Track. I would stay away from restricted free agents, or so these right here, RFAs, because basically the player in there means, in this case, the Bulls have the rights to Josh Giddey, and they have the right to match. So whatever, so if someone offered Josh Giddey $25 million, he just can't run to somewhere else. They have the option to match it, and he has to come back for wherever they match it. So somebody else was giving him a discount at 25 million, and he signed. He really wants to go there. Bulls could say, nope, I match that, and you're gonna have to come back and play for me for 25 million. So if we signed anybody on these RFAs, the team could match and make them come back. So nobody's really gonna take that discount to come to the Knicks because just their team is gonna match it. The other situation you need to worry about. A lot of people can look at other teams and say, hey, they have a free agent. Why don't we just sign and trade? Like, give me your player, and I'll give you Josh Hart. I'll give you something of worth. Like, a lot of people are going to bring up the name, and we see that he's not on this page because he's restricted. A lot of people are going to bring up the name Jonathan Kuminga. Free agent, 30 million. The free agent, it has a number here, but just say 30 million. Could we go to Golden State and say, hey, I'll give you Josh Hart and some things, you give me Jonathan Kuminga? The answer is no in our current situation. If you receive a sign and trade, it caps you at the first apron. So You cannot go over the first apron whatsoever. So the Knicks are already over the first apron. That really wouldn't work. Um, some other trade would need to happen from the Knicks to lose some money and fill those spots and make sure you get and go over the first apron. So those are the things I would look out for when it comes to free agents. Um, Also, another situation that people get themselves into is they look at players who have club options. So Mo Wagner, club option. Magic aren't letting him go. So even though technically he's on the list of free agents, he's not going to be a free agent because Magic aren't going to let them go. Also, a lot of players with player options. So John Collins, he has a player option next year for 26.6 million. He's not going to give up his 26.6 million next year to come play for the Knicks for 5.6. So he's gonna take that money. So I really wouldn't put them on there. So I try to stick with player player if a player, yeah, so if a player has an option and it's way up there, they're not gonna lose that money to play for the Knicks for less. I would look for unrestricted, and then if they're unrestricted, it's up to them if they want to play for us um, for less. So those are just things I would keep in mind. Um, yeah, just make sure you account for 14 spots being taken. Make sure you account for um, players who are options picked up, like Hook Porty. Make sure that you only have uh, normally 5.6 million for one player, and the rest have to be minimum. Um, so those are the big things you should keep in mind when putting together your free agent list. Let me see. Yeah. So and we covered the Jonathan Kaminga situation. So also no sign in trades generally because we're not going to be locked to the first apron. That's about it. So, yep, if you have any questions, just let me know.